Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you are having a nice day, and we are again back on our live stream here on the channel. So, last trading day of the week, exciting times. Hopefully, we can have a great session together today. And as always, we are gonna start with our pre market preparation because who doesn't love pre market prep, right? Every professional trader does create some type of plan when they go into their session. And this is what you should do every time so you know how to react at different specific levels and when to not do anything. So we're going to start with this basic pre-market plan. It doesn't have to be very complicated, but make it simple and so that you know exactly what you're doing and when you're doing. So let's start with the prep here. We're looking at ES. Let's change the spot for this so we can see the level better. So normally this level is the previous close, but since there's a time change in Europe earlier, 1 week earlier than in the US, my levels are a little bit off on the TPO. So I had to manually put the previous close on the chart, but don't worry, we got it working now. So previous close at 687.475, and yesterday we had again quite a volatile session. We had a decent range, but still a balanced day. It for sure looked like a upwards trend day at some point in many markets, but then we still ended up having a balanced day. All right. Well, a balanced day. We kind of rejected lower prices still, and we left our previous close here in the lower range of value. Right now, in the overnight session, we have a decent range, so probably gonna have some decent volatility again today, which is nice to see. So what would the play for ESB? Well, I'm obviously looking back to the gap, and I want to see a run of this level, rejection into the previous close, and then possibly we're gonna find some balance again or continue down. That's plan one. Plan two is that we open down, we take the previous close, we reject also yesterday's value, and we move up into the higher levels of balance. A pretty basic pre-market prep, nothing special, just playing off the levels. But yeah, expecting balance here or down here. Either spot is fine, but the previous close is our target today. Let's look at YM. YM is a little bit different. We are still trading inside of the previous balance, but we have two closes now outside of value in YM. So it looks like, it wants to go downwards, which is kind of interesting. The previous close is above. So if I was to look for a YM trade, I would look for a run through overnight low and maybe even yesterday's low, and back to the previous close. I think it's very possible we also run this specific level here, but I'm not sure if we're gonna go that far into singles this session, but I think it's very possible. So we have to keep that in mind, that this could be also a great level to enter from for a gap to sell trade. The other choice is that we move up, reject, and take the singles, and then find some type of balance here at these levels. So either long from the previous day's low and overnight low, or singles into gap close. Then the second option is we find our way upwards, reject the previous point of control, or naked point of control or the TPO, and then we find ourselves going towards the magnets, which are the single prints. So that's that for YM. Then we have RTY. RTY also quite bearish. We have a bearish close. We have a bearish close. We have a bearish close. So the latest 3 closes are bearish. So what I would want to see is a push up to value, neglect value, and move down and take previous close. Then after that, what happens? I have no clue. We could fall down, or then we could balance out in these areas again. I think both options are valid. If we would have a bullish scenario, we would run these levels and find ourselves back into balance. That is the bullish scenario on RTY. So yeah, I think today we have some decent setups on our hands in pretty much every market. I do have to measure the size of the gap on these markets. Ooh, ES has quite a wide gap. We are still, of course, in more volatile markets, so that's all right. But my rules say I can't take that ES gap. YM I can, 100% I can. YM is a very small gap, so it's a higher probability to close. So YM is a market that I'm gonna look for today, but time will tell where we open. We might even open above the previous close, and then my plan changes a little bit. But we do have nice magnets here below. We have 2 magnets. I would actually prefer if we open above the previous close, and if we can open somewhere in these areas, push up, reject value into the singles and the gap close. So we have like 2 magnets here, these 2 magnets. And if the magnets are on the same side, there's much higher probability for the market to go to these magnets. If you have 2 levels that want to get touched or taken out, I feel like the higher probability is there. Whereas if we have the singles here as a magnet, and then we have a magnet above here, both levels act as a magnet, so the market doesn't know which one to take first. So it's also a small question there. But yeah, if you have any questions about my pre-market plans today, or if you missed it, just ask me in the chat. I'm reading it constantly. And if you just need help with your trading or anything really, I'm happy to help. Happy to help. Let's look at RTY once more. Yeah, so we have a bullish. I like the setup of RTY and YM more than ES today. Reject value into previous close would be a quite clean play on RTY as well. So RTY and YM, the 2 markets that we are really looking for. ES is gapping up a little bit more than what we were expecting, but that's totally fine. Let's still use the ruler tool here to see. So yeah, if you're gonna open below this line, then I'm taking the gap trade. The white line is my rule here. So I know for a fact that if we are above this white line, based on my back tests, that we are probably gonna have a much less chance of closing the previous close. So I'm playing off that. Yeah, right now we're just waiting for the market to open, and hopefully we can get to our levels and get a trade here on Friday. We have gotten 1 trade this week, and that was on Tuesday, and we lost that trade actually. We had a small loss on that trade. Almost got the gap to sell that day, but not quite. So yeah, hopefully today another trade this week. I usually get 1 to 3 trades a week. I'm a very, very greedy trader in that way. I don't get much setups. And that's why on stream I want to not to be a entertaining streamer or trader. I don't want to bring, entertainment to the table. I'm trying to do it a little bit different. So I want to coach people on the stream. That's my goal, and I have coaching clients that I'm probably start, taking to the stream once I'm done with the preparations and the clients are okay with being on stream. This way I can give them cheaper prices, and they can then obviously give value to other people who are in the same situation. But yeah, right now also, if you just want coaching or help with your trading, I'm doing that for free on the stream. for now before the coaching segments are live on stream. For now, I'm just trading my own account, talking with people in chat, helping traders out. That's the goal. Yeah, still 9 minutes before the market opens. We got our prep done. Everything's ready to go. We could still look at the news a little bit here, if we have any. I have to get my cursor to the right screen. I have so many screens. Always a struggle. We have Fed Logan speech at 15:30, so that's my time. So at the open exactly, and then 15 minutes after the open, we have Chicago PMI, which could give us a small reaction. It's not a very news heavy day. We don't have like huge news, but Chicago PMI can still, give a decent reaction to the market. So always good to be aware of the upcoming news. Delicious iced tea. Yeah, we might actually have a setup on pretty much every market here today. Which is lovely to see. So guys, how are you doing today? Do we have anyone in chat? What markets are you gonna trade today? It would be lovely to hear. Lovely to hear what markets you're planning to trade today. Do you have any setups planned for the session, or do you plan your setups pre-market, or do you have another way of doing things? I'll be interested to hear. Also, let me know if the music is loud or not enough loud. All right, looks like the ES setup might be there as well. Obviously, the ES setup is giving us the best risk to reward ratio, but the least probability. So you always have to choose between these different market conditions. I think the YM setup is the best for sure today because we have those magnet levels below as well. Might have to go back to the TPO and look at the YM again. Yeah, well, we are opening now again below. So if we would open above, then I would like it more. But right now, I think they are quite equal to each other. So I'll just see which market gives the best price action reaction. Usually, when I have three markets aligning with the same setup, I tend to go for ES the most because ES is the market I know the best. It's the market I've traded for the longest time. I know this market like my own back pockets. So even if the other markets might give me a better setup, I'm so much more comfortable with getting an entry in ES because I've traded it for such a long time. I've looked at this market for thousands and thousands of hours. So I just know how it behaves. And that's how I get the best risk to reward. I get great entries in this market. So that's something I want to do going forward. All right. Hopefully everyone is having a great day today. And I wish everyone watching luck in their trading. I hope that you can find some great trades today. Some great trades would be very, very nice to have. Four minutes till the market open. And then it's time to get some action. We are vibing. I might as well put my hat on. Just like that. You might ask, why do I use a hat? Well, because I'm balding. Maybe that's the reason I'm using a hat. I'm 27, so already starting to lose a little bit of my hair. Receding hairline, not a big thing, but like to use my hat a little bit. Um, it's an aesthetic thing. But yeah, hopefully you're having a great time on the stream. If you have any questions about my pre-market preparation, we still have 3 minutes time, so I might have some time to explain what's going on. If you have any setups or anything you want to ask about, let me know in chat. I love to give some good answers and just help more, less experienced traders out there with their trading journey. Trading is a very hard thing to do, and it takes really years before you start seeing results. I'm not the hype guy that hypes up people to get into trading. I think you should really contemplate if you want to do this. And yeah, if you want to be full-time, you have to have a huge amount of capital first of all. If you're not doing the prop firms, obviously you can come up that way, but I think it's easier to start with your own money and then you go to the prop side of things later on. I think you get so much better habits from trading your own account first. Yeah, it's very easy to. I see this pattern in many of my students that I teach. That they have these habits of what is it called, like restarting their combines or trading challenges. There's not enough at stake, but once you're trading your own capital and let's say you're risking $10,000, that account, losing that account will sting, and you have to get better. And you kind of realize that, okay, you have to quit or you have to get it all together now because you don't want to lose more money, because that's a huge sum and that makes you realize things much faster rather than losing a $50 challenge account or whatever you like to call them. I trade a Apex Trader funded performance account on the stream. I don't trade my own live account on stream. I might do one day, but we'll see. We'll see. I just recently started streaming, so I want to get used to streaming first, and I'd rather not trade my live capital. So it's a great way to do it on a funded one. It's still real money that I could take out from an account, but it's not as serious. I treat it as more of a fun game instead of real trading funds in a way. All right, well, we can take a setup here in ES because we opened below the white line, which is a great thing to hear. Let's look at YM. I think that was the better setup. YM did not quite close the gap, which is very interesting to see. RTY closed the gap already, so there's no trade in RTY. RTY, a very aggressive sell-off from the open. Very interesting to see. A big buyer here on ES. Well, not a huge one. 250 lots, quite average. Quite average, but a little bit of a bigger order right in the open. We do have the Fed speech right now, I believe, and then in 15 minutes we have Chicago PMI, which could give us some small, volatility. But yeah, yes, I would want to see it run into these levels before actually doing anything. Something like this is what I want to see in ES. I want to see a move up, rejection into previous close. This is something I would want to see. We have a quite poor high here as well. So I feel like this is a magnet and people really would want to see this level ran. We probably have a lot of stops here. run that level and straight into the gap, which is our magnet for the day. But, you never know how the market likes to move. That's just my strategy for the day on ES. YM already closing the gap, so ES is the only market that will give us our setup today. ES being the only market giving us a setup today. All right, let's go back to ES. If there's someone who'd like to see any other products like NQ or something, I can go through NQ as well. I don't trade NQ, but I can look at it for sure if there's interest in that. Let's look at the PNF chart. We do have some strong negative delta here on the ES. On the ES, I really want us to run the overnight high for a setup. If there is a setup, that's the setup I want to see. Yeah, we're still waiting for a trade to present itself. What markets do you guys like to trade? Let me know in chat if there's a specific market that you prefer to trade or look. Is it even futures markets, or are we talking about maybe crypto or forex? I know a lot of people on YouTube probably are into forex. That's like the most, what would you call it, advertised product. I like futures. I'm not gonna go into the reasons right now, but for sure, futures trading, the best data out there. Yeah, I'm gonna build some systems around stock trading, but I think that's gonna be more automated stuff. Futures markets are the ones I've been trading the most. Well, ES is having a run of these lows here. So for sure a spot where you could start seeing buying. Let's see if the delta changes here. We do have a lot of negative delta here. You can see negative delta, negative delta, negative delta, negative delta. Not a lot of buyers right now. We kind of want to see if buyers can pick this up, because the move we were planning here was this specific move. Run the high and then into the previous close. Right now it's looking like it wants to go straight up there. But our second idea was that we would see rejections here at these areas and then make some balance. So we do have some options here, but the only trade I'm gonna take is if we run this overnight high level, which is the blue line here. And you can see it's not the cleanest of highs. It's an overnight high, obviously. Not as much volume, not as much liquidity in the overnight market. So let's make a proper high and then take out the previous close for a really good risk reward trade. The probability is probably not the best, but you get so good risk reward, and I would say it's probably around 50-50 if the target is hit today. So I would take that any time of the day. Let's look at YM. YM took the previous close already. There's really not anything to see here in YM. We kind of ran this micro support level to both sides actually. But yeah, a very balanced open. Nothing special there. We are at the support level here in ES. Let's look at the PNF chart. So we turned from very negative delta to positive delta. Now we kind of want to see, if we want to see an up move, we want to see the buyers moving the market. Right now we have negative delta, but the price is not going downwards. So that to me tells me that the buyers are kind of getting into it. All right. Obviously, we have the RTH view up here at this specific level. So we are fighting against it. So guys, what markets do you trade? Let me know in the chat. What is your favorite market? Do you have a market you'd want me to look at? I'm gonna drink some iced tea here. A very tight opening range today. We were expecting a little bit more maybe volatility, but we might get that in just a few minutes. We have the PMI flash, Chicago PMI, I mean, which is not the biggest news, but sometimes it gives a reaction, right? But for us right now, there's nothing to do. Our plan is that it would run the highs and then reject. Reject into the previous close and create some balance at the lower prices. We are at a bull market though, so we always have to remember that never underestimate the long side. And we are still trading quite close to the all-time highs, and we've had a really big run for the whole year pretty much, so we don't want to be fighting against the trend too much. But as a day trader, you can take short trades, obviously. You're trading the short-term moves anyways, so you shouldn't really be too caught up in that, but always good to remember, at least at all-time highs. That's usually when I like to calm down my shorts a little bit. I do take shorts, but I want to be much more selective than I would be normally. Okay. Let's look at the PNF chart, volume imprint chart, whatever you like to call it. Quite big negative delta on this specific rotation here, but still nothing happens. So yeah, looks like it wants to turn here to the buy side. Looks like it wants to turn to the buy side here, but we don't have a specific play. That's just a short-term order flow read. We are not scalpers. Let's look at YM. YM is looking quite bullish in my opinion. Yeah, we're catching some green delta here into bearish bars, which is quite bullish to me as well on YM. Remember, if you're watching the stream, you should never copy trade me or copy trade anyone. Always take trades and take your own responsibility when taking a trade. I also think that the market is like a painting. Everyone sees the same picture, but understand it differently. You might see a double top, I might see a double bottom. And that's just the way it goes. That's why I think it's not just as simple as, following a strategy that someone has made, because you're going to understand it differently. And I can already see an example here. Double top and double bottom. Which do you trade? Someone might see this as a double bottom trade, and someone might see this as a double top trade. Neither is wrong, but you see the market differently. Someone who looks into, even more short-term price action could see something else here, another pattern. So, same picture, but different ideas of what's gonna happen. And that's why, not having, if someone traded my strategy, the exact, got my exact rules, they would not understand the nuances and the things I see. So you always have to, you can take someone else's strategy and make it your own. That's what I would say. And that's my tip to you. If you find something that makes sense to you in the market, take it, study it, and make it your own. But yeah, Flash PMI in 4 minutes, says my trading bunny on my Discord. Thank you, Doug. I'm not sure if you're listening, but I appreciate the reminder. Right now, ES is looking like it wants to really take the previous close. We might have the scenario 2 on our hands here. And it looks like the sellers, here it looked like the sellers would lose, but then again it turned around. So again, a great example of me being wrong with my prediction. So never trust, everything I say. The market is random, and there's a lot of random aspects to it. 1 minute the buyers could be in control, and 5 seconds later the sellers could be in control. So things change, and that's why I think you should make a plan pre-market, and you should trade based on statistics. And once you have created your game, you're a casino, and then you just roll the dice with these specific rules that you have. And that's why I think making a pre-market plan is so important, because then you know at what levels you're doing what and what plays are possible for the day. And if none of these things happen when you're trading, you skip out on, trading a random market that you have no clue of what's going to happen. But if you create structure around your trading and you have an idea of what's going to happen, usually when it's happening, it's going to happen and you're going to capitalize on it. But if it's not happening, then your read was completely wrong and there's no point in trading that specific market. And it's a very hard thing to learn, because I know a lot of streamers and YouTubers like to do entertaining trades. Trading is the least entertaining thing in the world. Most of the time I'm not doing anything, right? And I get 1 to 3 trades a week. Imagine 1 to 3 trades a week. So yeah, it can be really boring watching my stream sometimes, and I'm trying to, obviously talk and give some aspect, an idea of what the market is doing. For example, right now we have the buyers jumping in, so there's a clear battle between the buyers and sellers. Right now we are seeing some strong buying delta at these specific prices. So I'm trying to give some analysis, right? But I'd really love to help someone out there. Like if you have a trader watching right now who needs help with their trading journey and is maybe stuck or wants some guidance, let me know in the chat. We can even set up a little stream call if you want to be a part of the stream and just have a great chat. I already ran out of drink. God damn it. Look, we had a sell order here. This is one. I love the big orders tool. So like you can see big orders coming in the market. You can use time and sales as well, but I have a indicator that shows me when bigger orders come into the market, and you can see. Look, a sell order of 299 tried to push the market down and nothing happened, and they got stuck. And then after that we got a buy order who probably got excited because there was a bigger sell order here stuck. Now obviously either of these orders could get stuck, and we have a level here that's a magnet. This level is for sure a magnet, and I think the most possible thing to happen is something like this. But yeah, you can see a sell order stuck there, and I like to trade these things with my plan. So if I planned a level and I see something like that happening, I really like to enter there, because I know this guy entered at a bad price and now the market wants to go the other way and make this person lose. Usually where there's pain in the market, there's gains in the market. When people are losing money, you have to make, you're gonna make money on those losing traders. That's just how trading works, If you win $50, someone's gotta lose $50. And that's why, the more profitable traders make a lot of money, because the most of the traders lose money. So it's probably the 80-20 rule again. 20% of the trader make 80% of the money. And the 80-20 rule pretty much works in everything. I love the rule. Also, 20% of my trades make 80% of my PNL. I just love the rule so much. Yeah, nothing really going on here. We are waiting. Obviously, I would still love if we run this high here. Like, if we could get something like this, it would be so delicious. But I think it's much lower probability that I will get the setup today. I 100% think that this is the more likely scenario right now based on the price action. Obviously, anything can happen and we can bounce off this level as well. This week, the sessions have been very long for me. The Tuesday session, I traded for 4 hours. 4 hours. Usually my trades take 30 minutes, an hour max, but that was a 4-hour trade. Well, we're just waiting. The PMI flash news announcement, by the way, we already had it and there was nothing that's really happened. We had the bigger orders there in the announcement itself, but nothing really happened. Nothing really happened. Well. Slow. Slow. I do want to see the overnight high run. It's a clean level. But right now, really not seeing anything. Oh, YM ran the overnight low. Look at that. If it didn't run the previous close on YM, it looks like this would be a very clean setup. A very hard one to get though, because the risk reward is not that great if you're entering on the right side of the V. Why I say right side of the V, usually when you're trading it makes a V and you want to enter on this side of the V rather than against, the market that's trending down, and then you're just catching a falling knife trade. So you want to play with the trend or with the momentum. So the trend is down, but the momentum changed, right? And this is where you look for an entry in these areas. I usually use the 9 EMA to just tell me, okay, now the trend has changed. So it has to close above the 9 EMA. And if I allowed myself to enter somewhere here, in best case scenario, I'm entering at these levels here. So the risk to reward ratio to the previous close wouldn't have been best, but it's a high probability play for sure. Yeah, it's a classic jostle pattern, says a friend of mine in our Discord server. Indeed. I like these V shapes openings. Um, yes, it's not nearly as clean as what we have in YM. YM is so much cleaner. YM is so much cleaner. RTY. Ooh, RTY. Look at that. RTY already running the overnight highs. So why is ES sleeping and the other markets are running? Interesting to see. ES is so much lower. We're so close to the previous close in ES already. But to get into these levels, it would be a huge run considering if our IB is 20 or 18 points. So we would have to really get a boost in volatility if we want to see this level run and then run back to the previous close, based on the volatility right now. So looking like a very low probability trade. Looks like we won't get a Friday trade today, unfortunately. No Friday trade in sight. Sigh. I'm gonna grab some iced tea. I'll be right back with you guys. Just back in few beautiful seconds. I'll see if I'll be just right back and get some drink. Something to drink. All right. Yeah, YM1 ticked the overnight low. Not the cleanest top run, but it kind of did a run of it. The music I'm right now listening to, by the way, would you imagine this is made by AI right now? Which is, I think, crazy that you can just take AI, make it make chill music for you, and you don't have to pay any royalties or whatever. I think it's great. You'd never, you'd never think about this like a year ago, right? But the technology is just going forward so fast, and you have all of these types of possibilities with tech, which is so cool to see. I had a friend who he actually listens to AI music, and it's very weird, but it's actually cool to see that you can like talk to the AI and have it, listen to your type of music, the music you love the most. You can tell it like what genres you like, what type of music you like, and then it's gonna create music that you specifically want to hear. And it doesn't even have to be like your favorite music, like maybe even genre wise, but like wording wise as well. Like if you like motivational stuff, or you want to have the lyrics lift you up in a way, you can make it that way as well. It's crazy. The tech is crazy. um Yeah. Tech goes crazy sometimes. Getting some iced tea. I'm not sure if you can. It's called iced tea, but it's pretty much juice, I would say. I would call it juice. Juicy Jostle. If there's any markets you want me to review, let me know. Right now, I'm just looking at ES because that's the only market that could still give me a trade. Very low probability. I think it's gonna run the P close and then turn around and maybe take the value that's above. So we're gonna hopefully find new value above again. That's how I'm reading the situation right now. ES is for sure the most bearish out of all the markets today. RTY is just flying. We're having a trend day in RTY while the other markets are balancing out. Very interesting. That that overnight low run on RTY was so clean. And look at that clean move. Like if you jumped on this move, you had a second chance, a perfect second chance to jump on this move if you were playing this trade, and it's just a huge move to the upside. You always wish you could grab every move in every market, that you could plan for everything, but unfortunately, you can't, and that's not the trade I could ever catch, unfortunately. But it looks like all the scenarios that I had put for myself that would not give me a trade are happening right now. So it looks like it's gonna be a one trade week. What are you guys gonna do on the weekend? Myself, at least, I'm gonna have a Halloween party tomorrow with some friends. With some friends over. Then I have a client on Sunday. Maybe I should do some hunting as well on the weekend. A lot of fun things to do outside of trading as well. But I do miss trading every time it's weekend. Vibe music, vibe music. Amazing. Alright, ES rejecting RTH VWAP, and it looks like ES is gonna close the gap in just a few minutes, I believe. Looks very likely that we will get a rotation like this. Down, and then I would imagine we probably find some buyers back to balance and create some type of balance up here in these areas. But who knows? I'm still rooting for a trade, like always. Oh, and next week we will have the US or the United States move into their winter time as well. So that's gonna be a great thing for me because my levels are a little bit off because we in Finland already moved into winter time a week ago, and the US is 1 week later than us for some specific reason. And the reason why I haven't fixed the time change thing in my Motivate or my trading program is because I have some specifically made indicators there that would probably break if I went and did that. So I prefer to have those indicators working over, the previous close showing wrong. Just when I said that I would see ES going lower to previous close, we found buyers. Looks like my price action reading today has not been the cleanest either. Something with Fridays and me. Monday is usually my worst day, but Fridays is a day where I'm profitable, but it's not my favorite day either. Usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are my best days. Thursday being my greatest. Now we're getting closer to the level now. Yeah. Let's see it. Yes. Do this. Or run it maybe properly. Do we have single prints in ES? Let's look. Let's look at ES a little bit. Do we have any? Oh yeah, we do, but they are so far away, and that's not RTH. Single, so I don't really care about those too much. Still up, probable level that could get taken out, but all right, the previous close is gonna get taken out here with a very high probability, something like this, and that means we would be out of a trade for today. Here we go. Let's see the level 1, and then we can call it a week and start prepping for our weekend. You guys watching my stream must be very, very excited about me taking one trade this week. What a entertaining trading channel. One trade. Ooh. There's nothing more exciting than one trade a week. Of course, the week I start trading on a stream, I get one trade. My range is usually from 1 to 3, and we are starting off with 1, which was a loser, by the way, so sometimes it goes that way. YM ran the overnight high as well, and now it's moving back to value. This specific level could be a quite a good support level if we're looking for a pullback, something like this on YM. Come on, ES, you're so close. You're so close to the level already. I know you want to. I know you want to run the level. Delicious. Delicious. And then we find buying. Okay. Okay, yes, I see what you're doing. You don't wanna Let me go on a weekend weekend partying spree. You want to bully me a little and not close the gap and probably have me here for the rest of the day, looking at the market, doing nothing. Oh yes, thank you, thank you. Let's look at the. Oh yeah, we had huge negative delta turning into a very fast reaction with the buyers really moving the market. This is where buyers are met with some resistance, but let's see how it reacts to the level where previously sellers took care of the buyers. We also just barely hit the point of control on the volume profile. So there we go. My volume profile is broken by the looks of it. What is it doing? Let's reload the data and maybe it fixes itself. I have it on my other monitor. You can see it works here, but I try to keep everything on one monitor so I don't have to swap between scenes and markets. This makes it much more easier. But the most of the things I'm looking at you don't see. You only see my execution chart. Let's see if ES can actually run this previous close. Now you can see how it cleanly made the volume profile look whole again. Let's see if YM is doing what we predicted. No, it was RTY. Yeah, it reacted to that exact level I drew, but my drawing is gone. I removed it. You can see it's like a low volume node here, right? So very low volume. And we moved past this, and the market likes to reject this specific area. So when we're in an uptrend like this in a very bullish market, when you get a pullback into that level and it bounces, it's a very clean, high probability setup usually. But yeah, we're kind of waiting to see if ES wants to close the gap and then call it a stream. Oh, what is this song? This song is very interesting. I'm gonna make this a dancing stream soon. So, still waiting for ES to do its thing. This is what we are expecting right now. But not getting into it right now. A big sell order for 568. Negative 568. Bigger sell order. Let's see if that sell order keeps the market moving or if the market moves away from the big seller. We have huge negative delta though. And is it getting absorbed? It looks like the sellers want to continue, but there's for sure some absorption from the buying side. You can see the delta is going upwards. And now, can we see? Yeah, now we're seeing the sellers come in. So very likely that now we get the gap close. But every time I've said this today, it has always found a buying rotation after that. So we might be wrong again. Well, this red line here is the previous close. So where yesterday's RTH session closed in equities. Let's see if we can run that specific level. Still struggling a little bit. Every time we say it's very, very close to taking it, then it turns a little bit, but not like a huge run of buyers here yet. Buying delta is quite slow still. And nothing really happening. The sellers are still on the pedal for sure, based on my... Okay, now we see buyers coming in. Bigger buying deltas. Let's see how it reacts. You can see how the delta is getting less and less. We had a big spur of buying delta, and then it just went to the ground, and the sellers pressed the gas pedal. They see the buyers coming in, and now they take advantage of the buyers and move the market to the previous close. This is now hopefully the previous close move, and then we can call it a weekend. If you have anyone watching the stream right now, let me know what markets you're trading. Did you get any setups today? If you just want any help with your trading, I would be happy to help. I do some coaching on stream, but if you want a free coaching lesson, look at the QR code on the stream. You can go there and claim yours. I always give one free coaching session per client, which is great value, I think. So if you don't want to be on stream and talk on stream, you can always do it in private for one session and then maybe decide if you want to work with me for a longer time. All right, let's see if the pre-close gets run here. A very, very slow session on the ES for sure. YM and ES, RTY are having really great moves. I mean, YM having a classic balance day, but the rotations are good. Whereas ES rotations are terrible. Terrible rotations. There's not really a lot of money to be made unless you pretty much were short from the opening bell. Then you probably could have like a profitable trade. But otherwise, there's really no money to be made in ES today. Maybe if you're a very tight scalper, you might have something, but otherwise, I don't really see too much on ES. Let's see if we can run the previous close now. Not yet. Are we gonna turn and see the big selling order get stuck again? Won't you look at that? Wait, this is not AI music. I think I actually lied. I think I actually put the YouTube playlist on. My bad. Not AI music. Oops. Oopsie. No, I just realized I had a real playlist on. What an entertaining session on yesterday. And if I remember correctly, we didn't have any proper news today. We had a Fed speech at, well, pretty much 2 hours from now. We have a Fed speech, Fed Bostic speech, and Fed Hammock speech. And then if you care about oil news, we have in 3 hours Baker Hughes oil rig count. But yeah, pretty much nothing important in equities. So looking like probably a pretty slow close today. There might be some moves at the end of the session, but I think this lunchtime algo hour, whatever you like to call it, is probably gonna be more or less just choppy. Do we have any earnings today? Let's see. Some smaller companies. Oh. Yeah, this is trading in a nutshell. A sleepy guy looking at his screen and nothing is happening. Hands off the keyboard. Guys, this is what real trading looks like. This is peak trading right here. A guy bored out of his mind, talking to himself on a stream, looking at a chart, yawning, wanting to go to sleep. Like, it's so dark outside, you can't see it. I live in Finland. It's 4 o'clock right now. And 4 o'clock in Finland right now. Very, very dark and gloomy outside. Classic fall. Or autumn. Autumn, I think you call it. Yeah. Classic autumn. Yeah, I mean, very, very rainy as well. I can't remember a dry day. So I've been very tired lately just because of the weather. And then the market is putting me to sleep as well. Yeah, classic trading, ladies and gentlemen. If you have traders taking a lot of trades here in these conditions on ES, they're not traders, they're gamblers, or they are specifically scalpers. But chances are they are losing money. Maybe if this turns into a bullish move, there could be like a bigger target that we could get today. But right now, we're just balancing out here at the lows. We rejected down towards the gap close. And now we're just balancing out at these specific levels at the point of control of today's session. So really not seeing anything specific going on right now. My heartbeat is still 74, which is a little bit on the higher side. But I ate before, so that's quite normal. Quite normal. Well, now it looks like we want to close the gap, right? The move we are waiting for. Take this. I'm not sure if we're gonna turn here, but the red line is a magnet. Again, a big seller coming in here. 2 500 lots at the same exact price. There's a bigger seller. Let's look at the delta on the PNF chart. Oh yeah, now we're getting some aggressive selling in here. We had the buyers trying to buy through this level, nothing happens, and then you see huge selling coming in. for the sellers, and now we're looking for this specific level to get taken out. Does the level get taken out? Do we run it? That's a good question. Do we? We should. Then after that, I think we might as well move back to value. And now we are looking at the chart to see if we are on a weekend. And we get a weekend. Hey, there's no setup today. All markets did their things. All markets closed the gaps, but we didn't get in on the trades because the plan where we were allowed to enter did not happen on any of these markets, and the secondary plan that was just for funsies was what happened, but there was no trade to be taken there for many reasons. All right, looks like the gap closed, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if ES wants to reject here or find buyers. I think it's a very high chance that we find buyers around these specific levels, and then we run up and find some balance here and make a balanced profile into Friday. No more news. Nothing really gonna happen today anymore. It's been a good stream. I've enjoyed myself. Do we have any people in chat right now looking to talk, looking to have a chat? If you want to have a chat with me, let me know. I'm reading chat all the time. If you need help with your trading or anything else, I'm here for you guys. And if you want to be on a stream, probably not today anymore because I'm starting to close the stream. Well, if someone really wants to come on stream today, they can. But then you have to let me know ASAP because I'm otherwise gonna end my stream. But if you want to be on a stream in the future, it's very possible. You just have to join my Discord and message me on Discord, DM me on Discord, add me, or let me know in the Discord server. You can find the Discord link probably on my channel in my bio, but I'll still put it here as a QR code. Bam. So now if there's someone who wants to join my Discord, go ahead and join. You can get some free on-stream coaching. And what I do is I give you a link and you're able to join my stream and we can have a talk. You can even put your camera on if you want to and get your fame on stream, right? In front of 3 viewers. Amazing. You could call yourself almost famous. Well, or if you want free coaching, we have a QR code for that as well up here. A beautiful QR code. You can just scan it. You'll get to my webpage and I give everyone 1 coaching lesson for free. And then after that, it's up to you if you want to continue working with me for the long term. All right. But it looks like there is no one who wants to be on stream today or talk to me today, so it's fine. It's totally fine. I'm trying out my different screens here. How do I do this? All right. So we had a great stream. I enjoyed my time. And I hope that you enjoy your time as well. My name is Jazzle. This stream has now ended. It was a great week. I hope you have a great weekend. Next week, trading again every day, like always. I'm going to be on stream and show you some great gap to sell trades. All right, I had a great time. Hopefully you had a great time. Let me know in chat if you got any good trades. But I'm starting to log off right now. And yeah, good week, good stuff. Jazzle is out. See you in the next one. Bye bye. Remember to subscribe.